Okay, so let's talk about Aridor. Now, I saw some pretty disturbing behavior in the Mars Corp fight. Aridor lost to Valley Trust. Important thing is that it lost in the better category. Like, the fun and the better design, I feel like they are both subjective to an extent. A lot of people love Valley Trust. I actually have it ranked as one of the top 10 most boring ones up there, although honestly with some of the new ones it might kick it out of the top 10. I don't like a bunch of the new ones. I don't think they're not that much fun. But and the better design, I think Aridor is a pretty good design. I think Valley Trust is not a particularly great design. Because the science thing doesn't always go with the prelude is rushed in science is engine, so I really don't think it's a good design. But the better one is just like I think Aridor just can like if you see my top corporation tier list, I think Aridor is 6th. Behind only Manutech, which is better, and then Vitor, Luna, Priestar, and Septum. And that's only if Priestar has the reds. If Priestar doesn't have the reds, it's actually meh. But because it's a thermal corp, usually people play with thermal, and they're kind of meant to play with the reds. But yeah, so I give Priestar that concession. But yeah, other than that, if not, it's and possibly if I start playing it on Steam, I might put it higher. It might be like Manutech, where I thought it was really good. I didn't think it was broken, but I did some Mars Math. All of that was a way to say I'm salty that Aridor lost to Valley Trust. But I think the part that is better is kind of like demonstrably true. Because, again, the other two are subjective, so fair enough. So, I did a spreadsheet just to show like how powerful this is. Now, let's remember, Aridor starts with 40. The ability is every time you play a new tag, you get 1 card production. Now, reminder, wild tag and event tag don't count. Like, the tag has to come into play. Right, so wild tag and event tag do not count, which leaves you, I think, with 11 tags. Right, so it's a maximum of 11. And then Valley Trust, which is going to be these two here. Valley Trust has like the ability is obviously a 2 discount on science and an extra prelude. So I'm gonna compare Valley Trust, assuming that remember you got 3 preludes and pick one, that one of those preludes is just the best 2 economic ones, or Metals Company, which I'll get into later, right? But basically for Valley Trust, you'll have 4 income starting Gen 2 if you play Allied Bank, right? And it'll be that till the end of the game, right? So, let's go over the spreadsheet, sorry. For Valley Trust, it's pretty simple. You have your income here. I'm just going to do the same thing for Business Empire. And remember, Allied Bank starts with 3, Business Empire starts -6. So as you can see, it eventually catches up to it. Business Empire is obviously better in the long term, but a little bit weaker in the short term. And then Valley Trust has the bonus of like the discount on science tag. I'm gonna leave that blank for now, because like every time you play a science tag, basically you gain 2 more cash, right? So you play a science tag in Gen 1, then your total MC instead of 3 is 5 because you save 2 cash, right? So that's all the science tags do. This column all it does is how many science tags you play and how much money you save. And then here at the bottom I have their starting capital, which for Valley Trust is 37, for Aridor is 40, and then just adding up the starting capital to all the money you make. And I think that's a pretty fair way to compare them economically. Now, I know Valley Trust has some flexibility because you may get a very good prelude that's not a cash prelude, but I think a cash prelude is pretty much like these are 2 of the more solid, especially Allied Bank, considered one of the most solid cards in the game. And we compare round by round, like that's one of his strengths, right? That's why people like it better than Business Empire, because you're up like significantly early, pretty much until Gen 4. That's when like the difference is minor, and then 5 and 6 is pretty much the same, and then yes, Business Empire like goes away. So for Aridor, Aridor is more simple. Like every time you play a tag, you get that much income, right? So like I play a tag in Gen 1, I get an income in Gen 2, right? I play 3 tags in Gen 1, I get 3 income in Gen 2, and that's my total, right? Let's start with a very... Now, I'm going to assume we're playing with preludes, because otherwise there's no point in comparing it to Valley Trust, right? So let's do a very shitty Aridor hand. Let's just say I get 3 tags in my opening hand, then 2 in the second one, and then 2 in the third one, and then let's actually do 1 here, and then 0, sorry, 0, then maybe 1 again in the 6, and then 0, and then 0, and let's just say I get a total of 7 tags, so very shitty. This is like the money you produce. Now, let's be fair. Let's say Valley Trust plays some science tags. So let's say they play 1 science tag per turn, which is in all fairness insane, right? Like 11 science tags is pretty good. Now, see that I'm giving Valley Trust pretty much a dream scenario here. 10 science tags, 1 per turn. 10 science tags, 1 per turn. And you see, it's close between these two. And this one's ahead, but this is like the shittiest possible. Like, you're only playing 7 tags in the whole game, which is rare, right? I started off with 3 because there are preludes, and it's really easy to get like 3 tags out in the first gen. But like, even with like a dream hand where you get 1 science in every round for Valley Trust, and I'm just gonna leave this here like that for the rest of the game. Just assume you get 10 science tags. Yeah, sometimes you get more. Like I've seen 12, 13 science tag games for sure. But I think this is pretty good. Like it's so close between these two. Now this one's ahead the whole game. This one is actually behind until just Gen 3. So this one's pretty much ahead the whole game, right? But now let's do like an intermediate Aridor hand. So let's say you play, let's say 2 Gen 1, 2 Gen 2, then 1, then 2. So that's 7, and then 1, 1, 1. Right, so we're playing a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 tags. 10 tags is like normal, but you're also getting them. I made them pretty staggered. You can, like, honestly, usually play your tags a lot earlier than Gen 7. At this point, I didn't do this intentionally, but at this point, it's equal to Business Empire, right? And that's with, again, all the science tag madness. Now, and by the way, as I mentioned Metals Company, for Metals Company I would just have to do just 0 here, sorry. That would be Metals Company, right? So if I assume Metals Company has the, but just add 6, and let's assume the metals are like as good as cash. So Metals Company would still produce you 6 more, but less flexible. Everything else is the same. You're also ahead. You're ahead with this one the whole game. So Allied Bank is ahead of Aridor, but Aridor is they're both ahead of Aridor the whole game. So that's also, I think, so in this case they're probably both better than Aridor. But again, this is an insane with a bit more normal, but not great. Let's do an insane Aridor hand. Well, let's do a really good Aridor hand. 4 tags in 1, then 1, then 2, then 2, and then let's say 0, 0, 1. So then you're getting 8, 9, 10 tags, but you got them a lot earlier. With preludes, it's hard. Like I've gotten 5 tags in 1, right? It's not crazy. And also think about it, Diversifier, which is 8 tags, is a milestone that usually goes Gen 3 and 4. So being 7 here and 9 here is not weird. This isn't hard, and especially if you're playing towards it, right? So, yeah, at this point it's gone, right? You're 13. And again, I'm always comparing against an insane Valley Trust hand that gets the best prelude and 10 science tags to play. So this is unlikely to happen, basically. This is just as lucky as you can get with an indie game with Valley Trust. I know you can rush with Valley Trust too, but it's harder to compare. And honestly, a science discount is not very good in Rush. So that's why I like you basically have to get 3 very lucky preludes, and for that you'd already need 2 very lucky preludes, which any Corp can get, right? So you might not beat Aridor Ninja still. Okay. And so again, you finish with 113 here, and you catch up pretty much by Gen 6, right? Now let's do the insane scenario, which I've done. I think I got 5 tags first hand, then 2, and then I think 1. So I don't think I got the 11, but this I've actually done this. So this actually is the 11. So let's do 0 here. Let's just so 10 tags in 4. This is an insane hand on both hands, but then you're crushing it. You're winning by 25 and 16. And these are like 2 insane hands, and this is much more likely to happen. This insane hand, like 10 tags and 4, it's hard, but even if it's 9, like that doesn't kill it. Oh, oopsie. No. Even if you get this one a lot later, let's say there, it's 18, right? So like the important thing is you get these 5 early, and you're winning, right? That's pretty much. Now on to the next thing that I will say is very important to remember with Aridor. They also bring a colony. Now this may seem a little random, but the key thing here is that you, like I didn't realize how good this was. You're gonna have a great engine. You are usually gonna be able to afford a colony much sooner than others. But more importantly, you know you're gonna have ready income, and that means you can basically guarantee that Pluto is in. If it's either gonna be in from the beginning, in which case you can just bring the second best thing, but you don't care because Pluto is in. But if it's not there, you know you have a great engine, you need cards, you bring Pluto in. So Aridor can guarantee itself card draw and cash. And I know that both can use Pluto, but because you have a better economy, you can usually make the most out of Pluto. Now, that's sort of it for the Value Trust part of the video, but I want to compare... So I've been wanting to do this for a while, but I'm going to do it with Aridor. And I want to compare it to like the other corporations, the other money corporations. So let me just zero this out. Let's pretend you play all events. Very shitty Aridor. And let me explain what this is. So, basically I used all the rich corps that can be easily measured how much their bonus gives them throughout the game. So for example, Credit Corp, starting capital is 57, they don't have any income, and their bonus is 4 every time you play a plus 20 cash. This number, sorry, let's actually do an insane. Let's just pretend you play all 11 hands, all 11 tags in the first hand. This number is how many cards that trigger the bonus you would have to play to equal Aridor, right? So if Aridor gets this insanity with like all 11 tags, which I'm not going to run that scenario, that this means Credit Corp would need 21 cards to basically generate more cash than Aridor. 21 plus cards of plus 20. Terractor would need 26 cards of 26 Earth tags so that the starting capital plus the bonus are better than Aridor's total economy. So let me just repeat that so I hope it's clear. I'm basically doing how much Aridor gets from its bonus plus its starting capital, and then I'm comparing that, doing the same thing for all corps. How much they're getting from their I'm taking their starting capital and their bonus and determining how many cards they need to play that trigger the bonus in order for that to happen. So for Credit Corp, plus 20. For Terractor, that's Earth tax. For IC, it's events, and the bonus is 2. For Vitor, card with points, and the bonus is 3. For Chiching, they have the income at 3, plus the building tax at 2. For Septem, Septem I did a little weird thing where I just pretend that they paid 25. Their starting capital is 36, but I just pretend they play their free delegate and 25. So that they get the 12 cash income. This is not the most optimal way to do it, but it was just like I couldn't fit Septem scenarios into 5 rows. So I mean, Septem is a little better if you play it optimally than what you see here. And in their case, because there's no bonus, I'm just telling you how much they have more than Aridor. So weirdly, in this dream scenario, Septim I think still beats Aridor. And then we have Mons. Now Mons and Polyphemus both have negative point bonuses, right? They have this big income for Polyphemus, and the same thing for AC. I just assume they use like their males as cash. But basically, if you see NA, it means that they can't get there, regardless of how good of how many times they get hit with the penalty. They can't get there. So yeah, if you see a number here, so let's just do 5 here. If you see a number here, this means this is the maximum number of times you can get hit with a penalty, right? Sorry. Okay, so yeah, then for Spire, I included as one of the new ones. This is the number of 2 tags that you'd have to play. And finally, for Pre-Star, number of times you need to get your bonus, which means not activate the not Terraform. I did give it the -2 income, assuming you don't get the reds and you don't get to get the Terraform rating back quick, which is why Pre-Star is much better with the reds. So it's actually going to be on the weaker side here. Some of the other like money corporations like Lakefront, they're a little too variable to really like put them on a flat sheet like this. There's not to say they're not comparable, they're also very solid. But like I can't like do ocean scenarios while I'm doing tax scenarios. You know, I'm sure you get it, right? So these ones are very simple to like basically compare, and they are for the most part the rich corps, right? So let's do the shitty scenario. I think we did 3, 2, and 2, something like that. And this is very bad. You basically get 7 tags. You do get them early, but 7 tags. I think I did 3, 2, 1, and 1 because we were at 96. But this is very bad. You get 7 tags by Gen 4, and that's with preludes. So let's see. Credit card would need 10 cards of 20 plus. Not easy. Doable, but not easy. And you're definitely getting those later than sooner. 12 Earth tags, very unlikely. 13 events can happen. That can happen, but it's on the high end again. 16 card returns can absolutely happen, and we'll see this with Vitor. It's one of the few that I feel like routinely gets there, and that's why Vitor is still ahead for me in the rankings. But basically, the 3 unlikelies, 1 doable. 12 building tax, again, unlikely. Very unlikely. Septim would be up by 23 in this scenario. So yeah, so negative means Septim is up, positive means Aridor is up. So Septim just would crush that. Months, you can only take 2 penalties to be above. Spire would need 23 cards with your tags, forget it. And Polyphemus, you could buy only 7 cards the whole game, or you're under, right? And then Pre-Star, you would need 11 generations without terraforming to get there. So that's again a very, very shitty scenario. Let's do the more balanced that I did. So it was like 2, 2, 2, 1, 2. So we get 9 tags, right? Here we're getting 9 tags. Let's see, what do we need? Let's do one more down the road, like 10 tags. Oh no, let's say you don't get Venus or Jovians, right? You didn't get the Venus or the Jovians. Wrong way to play either, but you only get 9 tags. You don't even get them that slanted towards the start. But what do you need now? You need 12 cards of 20 plus. Almost impossible, I want to say. 15 architects I don't think I've ever seen. 17 events I don't think I've ever seen. I've seen some very good media groups. I don't think I've seen 17 events. 18 cards with points you can totally do. Sorry, 19. 17 building tags unlikely. Septim still beats it by 15. So Septim and Vitor still strong, right? Mons is out. Like basically you can't get there. Even if you take no penalties. Spire, you need 27 cards with your tags, that's out. Poly, you can buy 3 cards the whole game. You can buy 3 cards from the draft the whole game, which is obviously ridiculous. And Pre-Star, you would need 12 turns. And this is on a like regular scenario. Now let's do the busted one that I did, which was, I think it was 5, 3, 1, sorry, 5, 3, 1, 1, sorry, 5, 3, 1, 2. That comes up to 11. That's actually too good. That's actually too good. Let's do 5, 2, 1, 1, 2. Like that. Maybe too solid. Yeah, like that. Let's push this down even. Okay, something like that, right? You get these. Yeah, I think 121 was the one I did. So this is a very solid one, right? Basically, you get 7 in the first 2 gens, then 111. You get that final tag later down the line. That's probably a micro or animal tag that you got really late. Let's see what you need. 16 cards with no tags. Sorry, with 20 or more, not happening. 20 earth tags, not happening. 25 events, not even close. 24 point cards, unlikely. No, yeah, that's not even happening. No. Chongqing, 25 building tags, not happening. Septon only loses by 2. So, just I know these videos about Aridor. Septon is fucking insane with the economy because this isn't even the optimal way to do it. With the optimal, you beat it. So Septon, best economy in the game, no question. Even with this insane Aridor hand, you only loses by 2, and it doesn't really. If you go to my Aridor Math video, which is up there, you can see that there's a better way to do this, in which you basically save a bunch of cash. Not much, but it's better than this. Months out. Spire, you need 35 tags. You're not going to play 35 cards, right? Poly, not happening. You can't buy any cards. And pre-start, you only need to play 15 gens and never terraform, and then you catch up, right? That's all you need with pre-start. So yeah, what I'm trying to say is Aridor's bonus is really good. Consistently, like what you see is that Viter and Septum are better economically than it on the normal scenarios. Let's go back to that one. So we did this one that was, yeah, like that. It was, yeah, 9 total tags, and then, you know, 12 cards, again, the only ones that were possible were 18 cards with points, which I have seen. Septon crushes it by 15, and then all the rest were like impossible. And now keep in mind there's the other half of Aridor's bonus, which is that it can bring Pluto. So I mean, if you're going Ingen against Ingen, it benefits you both, so you don't care. But like, if you're not one of these very heavy cash corps, then the fact that the cash corp can bring Pluto and guarantee itself card draw is huge. That like they have this whole other part of their bonus. And so yeah, this pretty much confirms to me where I ranked it, which is right at the top. I might actually put it over Priestar. Of course, Priestar I'm not, like, Priestar has the Reds interaction, which is important. But I ranked Aridor at the top of the second tier. I might move it up just because it's so consistently better than some of the cards in that tier, like Credit Core Interactor. It's just, I might just move Septum up again. I think Septum is better than Viter, and Luna. Luna has the card draw, but yeah, it might be even better than Manutech. I'll have to play with Septum when it comes out. Anyway, that's all I have for today. Let me know what you think, and see you next time.